Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media. In case you didn't know, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And yes, here to bring you that boom bap breakfast right here. So get your plate, get your fork, get your knife, get your chopsticks, get whatever you need to take this down. We got you. Yo, let me introduce you to your host with the most. Coming straight from the East Coast, Maryland's own. Burn it down, Kim Brown. Burn it down, Kim Brown. How that sound?
What's going on, Ear Doctor? You hear me?
I hear you good. Give me a pound, virtually. Bam, we in here.
Good morning, young man. How you feel?
Hey, I'm here, man. It's Thursday. It's May the 1st.
May Day.
You know what I'm saying? Celebrating my pop's born day today.
Hey.
So big up to all the tourists out there, too.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Big up to the tourists. Kings and queens and days. Big up. Happy tourist seasons. Let's be real bullish. Let's be real bullish out here this season.
You know what? I'm supposed to be going to Alabama for a funeral this weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I hear that.
Yeah. It's my uncle's mom. So it's like not even. Yeah, I know
Would that be a grandparent of yours?
Nah, because it's my uncle's mom. We called her Auntie Laura. So she just was that whenever we went to Alabama, this is the house we went to, and then we've seen all the rest of the family. It's like one of the first. Yeah. So, but my son was like, only time I see family is at funerals. I was like, you're right. We don't have no family reunions. I mean, that is our family reunion pretty much. So yeah. Family reunion for me this weekend. I mean, it's a going home celebration.
Homegoing,
yeah.
or a going away party, however you, whatever your perspective is.
Thank you.
Yeah, but shout out to the families that are T-shirt family reunion families. You understand? Like
word.
My people in Virginia do a big family reunion every 2 years. And they make T-shirts. It's these are my family that the last name is Charity, the Charity Family Reunion.
Do you go?
I've been.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not I wouldn't say I'm a regular attendee. Though I will say the one, this was several years ago, but I went and it was people from all over the country, people from California. And I'm like, yup, you look like me. Wow. Like, these are people I hadn't met. These are like extended family members. And I'm like, wow, even distant relatives. That's why when people be like, don't I know you? I'm like, probably not. You probably know somebody that you think looks like me.
What's a short light-skinned people? What a family reunion.
Apparently we are legion out here. Light-skinned girls with big foreheads, ample bosom, no butt. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of that. We deep out here, apparently.
Oh man, got that Cancun body. I see y'all out here. We got to talk about
what?
Mexican. Mad burritos.
You're not gonna stereotype. You're not gonna stereotype the ladies via our our DNA and shit. All the Latinas is not built the same. All the sisters is not built the same. All the white girls not built the same out here.
They not a bad blonde body built. How your girls bad brunette body built. Now, big up to all the sisters out there. Much love.
You are hilarious. Is it just you today, good bruv?
Nah, we got Kamal coming through. You got to take them kids somewhere. We get them some education. I thought Jackie might be making her way through, but you know they get so much praise on Wednesdays for doing so much news, making us look like
Man,
we just a regular talk show over here. I like the diversity.
we salute the workers. You know what I'm saying? The people that put in the work. That Wednesday morning show crew, Friday
Yeah,
morning show crew be putting in work too. I don't know what me, you, and Kamal be doing, but like,
we get. Wait a minute, our show gets the most numbers Tuesday. I'm just saying.
is it because we are the fluffiest
That's
and
just,
the least serious? Is that why the folks?
I think that's what it is.
Chat, what say you?
See, that's why I be trying to.
Never mind. Don't say nothing. I don't want to know.
That's why I be trying to break down terminology because a lot of people be like, What are they talking about?" Some people don't be knowing. That's why they come and be like, "Oh, now I get it. Now the ear doctor's on the screen." But even though I'm here every show besides Friday. Anyway,
Ear
so
doctor.
so a gala tonight for me. I got to go do that.
Booked and busy.
Yeah, I
Come through,
mean,
DJ.
yeah, and 2 weeks from now, I'm probably not going to be around for the morning show because I got so many graduations I got to do. So that's a,
That's
a
great.
a whole nother thing. I'm gonna have to hold it down in a couple weeks
Take
without
all
me.
these parents' money. Take it all. Take all these schools'
No,
money.
the
Take it
school's money.
all.
Yeah, yeah, they got it. So,
Mhm.
I love it though. I love seeing kids and parents celebrate, and because sometimes it just you see kids getting celebrated at sports events. So to see them getting, celebrated for the academics and stuff like that, it's always a beautiful sight. So
Hey, well,
big
your
up.
daughter recently got such a recognition for her
A
academic achievements. So
and be honor roll, and she just made volleyball manager too. So I took
what?
her out yesterday and for a little snack. But what
Oh,
was funny? She
what's
was
that?
like, "It sure would be nice to get some quote unquote, the name of the place." And I was like, first of all,
Some Chipotle? What?
Zaxby's. So I
Oh.
was like, yeah, I was like, first of all, if you go closed mouths don't get fed, and you don't come at somebody like that saying it would be nice. If you want something, state why you want it, state why you should get it, and then maybe I'll consider it. So she shook it off. She looked at me straight in my eyes and was like, "Yo, I just took these 3 tests for school. I just made the manager on the volleyball. I feel like with my grades and my accomplishments today, it would be nice if you would take me out to go get some Zaxby's." And I said, "Go get your shoes."
Look at
That's
that.
what I was talking about.
See, look at the lesson. Look at the superior parenting out here, ear doctor.
Yeah, man. I was
You know
like,
what
you
I'm
can't be
saying?
coming up here. Oh, I wish that I can. That if you want it, tell me you want it, and I go get it.
And see, that's very important because
Hmm.
that is how she is going to engage with future partners. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Because her
yeah,
father taught her that. Her father told her that she is worthy of the things that she wants and she deserves.
that's
Not
right.
simply because she's earned them, but because who she is. She deserves that shit. Nigga, run me some Zaxby's. What the fuck? So
Exactly. I done did my work. Annie up. And she
no,
know what it
ear
is.
doctor, that is really good fathering. That's great fathering. That
I appreciate it.
more children and daughters in particular need those sort of standards established for them so they won't be getting fucking run over when they get grown and start dating out here.
Hey Kim, guess what song we was playing on the way up there? She was singing.
What's that?
We made it. We made it. That Ghostface. He's playing that up there on the way up there. Oh
Go.
yeah, she know all the woo. She
See,
know
that's
woo.
what I'm talking about. Take the children. Shout out to everyone that's who's going chat. Who's going to the Wu Tang tour? Who's
I
going to
know
a
who
Baltimore
is.
show?
Kamal K. Franklin.
Hey, we
What's
know
up?
Kamau
Ooh,
is
that
going to
lighting
stay in
is
the Wu.
terrible. I just tried to fix the
Oh
lighting and it's worse than
yeah,
it was
good
before.
lord. He bright skinned.
God damn, yeah. What the
How
hell?
can you, what's the difference? And the difference is what from any other day?
He looked like a human light bulb.
How about that? Any better? Slightly better,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, slightly better. There you go. You
Oh,
get some color to your face now. Oh, now he done
It's
knocked
when you
something
wear
out.
the dark colors, Kamau, is when
no, I'm look good in a dark color. What are you talking about?
well, I didn't say you didn't look good. I'm just saying that's when the contrast is heightened.
There's not a lot of contrast. I mean, I'm almost the color of the shirt, so I don't know what the problem is.
With the white letters on it.
Jealousy is my middle name.
Hey, wasn't that a song about Jermaine Jackson? Jealousy?
Jealousy? No. Was there a jealousy song? The Jermaine
Damn,
Jackson?
what song was that? That was a
Jermaine
good
had a
song.
couple of bangers.
He did.
Why don't you do what you do when you did what you did to me?
Why don't you do what you do and say what you did to me? Pick up Jermaine.
I know.
Jermaine is kind of slept on out here. Like even doing the G5 and the Jack, like Jermaine had some jams that he was lead vocalist on. I'm like, this shit is banging. Okay, Jermaine, I see you.
Hey, we're gonna have to do a classical breakdown on Jermaine. Well,
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
It'd be a 15-minute show.
Yeah, they may not be that much, you know. But it was I can't remember. There was a couple other ones. Oh, remember, I guess he was with he with the Jazz? He was a kid. Daddy's home.
Woo! Heat.
Daddy's home.
Heat. Yes. Daddy's home is a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 2 or 3 of them.
Come out, put me out in his bag this morning. Got a little voice there too. I hear him singing.
I could have been.
So many things you could have been.
That's true.
I mean,
Political stuff to throw me off. I didn't take life seriously when I was young. All the things I could have accomplished.
If you hadn't have gone into law, what would you have done?
I could have been the next Cory Booker. What are you talking about, son?
Yeah, he's not lying. Adam Clayton
Powers. You know what I'm saying? I could have sold out to some drug companies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could have been a contender.
See, then you would have had a white wife and we wouldn't have respected you as much.
That's just right, Jewish.
Oh, okay. Well,
I was close to Crown Heights. My mom was trying to gear up towards. Can you walk over there? I don't know if I can take the wig. Can it be I can't do the Orthodox. Couldn't be the Orthodox.
He would have got one of the Dominicans that don't like black people.
Oh, Dominican woman.
Oh God, I know. I gotta get back.
The Dominican anti-blackness is deeply confusing. I'm always so puzzled by it. I'm like, what am I missing? what am I not understanding? What? I told you when the neighbors over there that I don't like, them niggas, they're Dominican, and I heard them talk about me one day. They kept calling me Negrita.
Yeah, Negrita.
But
Negrita?
I'm like, but ain't we all? Ain't y'all black also? How am I Negrita? If I'm Negrita, what is y'all?
Nah, they say they got that Indian in their hair and their blood.
Out of here.
They do. That's the crazy thing about it. That's why they got that. They hair
got that
like
European
that
in their scalp. That's the crazy thing about it. It's too much. Yeah.
We was a deeply colonized people. Hey, Sue.
That's why everybody now. Not everybody, but
that's why black women pay to get that Dominican hair.
I thought it was the Indian hair. It was the popular hair.
You go to the Dominican salons.
Oh yeah, to get Indian hair. Crazy.
No, to get that infernal blowout, sir. That's what the Dominicans are known for in terms of hairstyling.
The straightness,
tremendous amount of heat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's what Leia says. No, they have press and curl. Okay, that's what they do.
Oh no, they will fry your scalp, baby. They believe in heat styling. Dominican salons. They subscribe to that.
Okay. Learn something new every day.
That's when the girls say they're going to see the Dominicans. That's what they mean. Not they're going to get Dominican hair. Yeah, doctor.
You're getting a blowout.
Okay. Listen, I just want to let everybody know that Black Liberation Media merch is on the way. So y'all get ready for that. Yes, finally we can rock some dope gear once again, and I can do some commercials. Been missing those.
Oh, those commercials.
Yeah.
I miss those commercials
classics.
too.
Yes.
Were you playing basketball? It took you like 40 shots.
No, it didn't take me that many. I was one shot. That was all one shot.
Hey, doctor, did you shoot all that by yourself, or did your kids help you?
One of them I did majority by myself, but yeah, the kids helped in the football commercial. The basketball commercial, I did majority by myself. I had a sister there just standing behind the camera to make sure it ain't fall. But other than that, yeah.
Excellent work, sir. If I could afford a commercial, I would hire you.
A one-man team, yeah.
I mean, listen.
He's like, let's discuss those rates.
And
He's like, I leave no money on the table now. That's
I'm not
no
as expensive as you think. You know what I'm saying?
hey, I want to see another community CMOS commercial. Maybe let the ear doctor put his fingers on it.
Oh, look at
But
that.
my commercial was funny though. I didn't edit it, but it was my concept. You know what I'm saying? It's my concept. I could have been that. I could have been on Madison Avenue.
Mm.
My undergrad degree is in marketing management.
Is it?
Yeah, I chose the easiest fucking thing I could think of. I was like, what? I wasn't like planning the college thing. I was like, what can I do in here? Oh, yeah, marketing. Psh, that's a breeze.
Okay.
I could have seen you in the entertainment business. I think you would have been ruthless.
I could see that. You'd have been invited to the Diddy party.
Oh,
I ain't say all that.
You'd have been an entertainment mogul.
I'd be like,
you know what I'm saying?
Those kids that died at the college, whatever.
Oh wow.
Oh shit! I ain't say you would have went, but you would have got an invite maybe. But
I would have been powerful in the industry.
All right. So let me go ahead and guess I set up everything for a break, and then we can get into it. Any news worth talking about?
I'm certain there's
there's always news worth talking about. I mean, goddamn, what kind of
as much of the tumultuous times as we live in, ear doctor, you think we don't have news, good brother?
I mean, I'm just trying to stall so I can get.
I see. Anyway, how the kids doing this morning?
The kids are doing good. They got there with I guess what they call the milestones today, where they take these exams and it's supposed to be national. But then they have these other national tests. Maybe they're the milestones.
The milestone is it? Yeah,
Are they national or just Georgia?
I think it's I don't know. I just know that my kids, my
other tests they take called the MAP test.
Yeah, the MAP too,
which I think are national. But anyway, so they got those today. Khalib has camp. Maya has camp. I know Maya has chorus and acting. I have May Day festivities. So I have to do that. Then go get the kids.
May Day.
Workers Day. Workers organize the original day for workers. May Day.
Put me on. What is that about?
Put you on. What does that mean? What do you mean?
Put me on. What is May Day about?
Oh, I thought you meant like get you a DJ gig. I was like, I can't get you.
Oh, no. I have a gig tonight. Continue.
Oh, my bad.
He wants to be educated. Come out.
Yes, I want.
May Day was the original holiday before there was a Labor Day. The original day that was chosen in the United States, actually. I'm forgetting the incident that took place, but workers was the first day that's supposed to be recognizing workers' struggle for rights. And it became something that was international. And then later on, the United States, because it became radical, or people thought of it, thank you, Haymarket, thank you.
Market riots. Was that Chicago?
That was Chicago, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Where workers struck back at the owners and workers were killed. And hence people started using the day, it was around May Day, the 1st of May. People started using that as a day in which to celebrate, talk about, fight for workers' rights. The United States considered it, the United States government and others considered it too radical. And then they pushed it aside and instead created Labor Day as the day for workers. And that's the day officially celebrated. But all around the world, May Day is still the primary way in which workers celebrate the rights that they are either created or the rights that they're fighting for. And even sometimes more radically speaking, how workers should be in charge of the means of production collectively and overthrowing the capitalist class.
So why are we here? Ain't we supposed to be off today or something?
No. I think it's important we come on the air on days like this and get enlightened by the likes of Kamau. But I mean, May Day is a bigger day internationally than it is here. Would you say, Kamau?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. All around the world. I mean, May Day is considered the day for workers, for workers to struggle out loud. And here, again, it's been suppressed because of the radical nature in which it upholds workers' rights.
Imagine that, workers crying about their conditions. Still,
It's not crying, I don't
I
think.
think he's being sarcastic. I have to believe he's being
Struggling and protesting,
I
is
mean,
that
you were
crying?
fighting.
you crying about your condition sometimes.
I mean, it was
Some
just,
weddings that they make you do.
I'm
Or,
just point. Oh, I love them. I love the checks at the end and the tips, but
did he
I'm
say you
just
put the chicks in the tips?
no
Checks.
Check.
checks
Okay, my thank you.
in the tips.
Gotcha.
But I'm just saying, it's continual struggle. We still out here trying to get right as workers under
Yeah, and I
this
don't think in the US.
oppression regime.
Well, yes, but looking at how bloody the labor struggle has been in the United States, there's been many oppressive regimes, right? The whole system is an oppressive regime. It's just a different name every so often, every couple to 4 years, right? So, but
Okay.
no, police killed lots of people. I mean, police and private security, the Pinkertons and
Mhm.
all that shit, like just blamed on thousands, hundreds of folks for wanting better conditions and better wages.
Hmm.
So the elite class will get violent. They do not play with their money. They will
God,
turn the state on you.
Goddess Crew has a question or a statement. Ear doctor, you don't consider yourself a worker though. Hmm.
Is that well? Answer the question. Do you consider yourself a worker?
Yeah, when somebody pay me, I gotta work for them. Duh.
Okay, don't you want good working conditions and to be paid a thriving wage for your labor and your skills?
That's why I demand the price to be paid, or I don't go work. So
And as workers collectively have to do sometimes to make sure that they also get decent wages, health benefits.
yeah, that's what I don't get.
Sometimes the worker
Benefits.
struggle here in the United States gets very limited around solely the interests of the workers, and part of the international feeling about workers or workers in terms of under the or sort of communist or socialist view is obviously the workers are the class best able because of their contribution to society to control the means of productions to make sure that they're not doing work that's hurting not only themselves but other people, that they're returning the wealth back to the country or back to the needs of the people. So that's one reason why they suppress workers, because workers may get the wrong idea. And in some countries, it's peasants, right? So the so-called peasant class has substituted for the working class, the so-called worker class or whatever, in terms of advanced industrial societies to be the leading edge of revolutionary and radical thought.
Okay. Oh, ain't that something? But you don't have to have a boss to be a worker.
Well, yeah, the whole point of it is that they're bosses who control the work of the workers, and they control the wages of the workers, and they take the excess from the workers and give it to themselves as profits.
Okay.
So you wouldn't classically fit into the
worker.
workers. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely a worker. Don't get me
I'm
wrong.
a worker. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't classically fit into the sort of more radical idea of the workers supposed to be taking over society through the idea of taking over the means of productions, because you're more of a contractor. You
Contractor.
do your own thing, that kind of thing. You don't work a steady 9 to 5.
Yeah, I have a boss.
In some ways, you're in worse condition.
Yeah,
because it's hard for you to bargain for healthcare rights and
have
pension,
none.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
have
none of that.
Yeah.
None of that. I have none of that. So
yeah.
So it's some good, some positives and negatives, some pros and cons to being in my position. But
Yes, but you need to stand with all workers though, because I feel like sometimes you kind of separate yourself. You're like, oh, well, I don't have a boss, so fuck y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, Air Doctor, you got to stand with us.
I have a boss for the amount of hours you hire me.
Right. But
Yeah.
you should also be advocating for people that actually have a boss that they report to 40 hours, 40 plus hours a week, right?
What make you say I don't? Think I
Because
don't?
it just sounds like you don't. That's why. Because I don't know. You kind of make it sound like you better than the rest of us out here.
I mean, Kim, when's the last time you did an honest day of work? I mean,
nigga, I work.
about it.
First of all, surviving is work. Let's start there. Okay.
I'm the hardest worker out here surviving. Shucking and surviving.
And I've worked since I was 13 years old. You understand? Like,
damn, really?
Yeah.
That's a lot. Yeah, not me.
Yes. I mean, and
So that be-
that's under the table labor as a 13 and 14-year-old. Then as soon as I was old enough to get a work permit, I had one. And I had a fucking job. And I had 2 jobs in high school. Nigga, don't play me. I have worked out here. I have wiped asses. I have interviewed I have done it all out here, sir. So I don't want to hear no shit about Kim don't work. Nigga, I have worked.
Okay,
Put in
excuse
lots
me.
of work.
Shit.
16,
I thought I did something by selling knives one time in my life.
Have
for
you ever
that
You've
wiped
had
the
like 30
ass?
jobs. Well,
Have
you've
you
had
ever wiped the
every job.
ass?
In fact, y'all should compare the amount of different jobs, it sounds like, because my knowledge of your doctor is that he's had so many different jobs. So it sounds like you have too.
I've had a ton of jobs. I mean, all kinds of different jobs. You know, I worked as a assistant manager at Corningware. Was it Corningware Corral? I worked in the mall. I worked a lot of mall jobs. I worked as a companion for special needs children. I've taken care of elder people. I've taken care of disabled folks. You know, I've done a lot.
When did you fall? When did you decide, or was it like a conscious decision to get into media or to be a reporter or?
I was very influenced by Oprah as a young person, as I'm sure a lot of young aspiring media people in the 80s and 90s were very inspired by Oprah. And I had Oprah kind of aspirations. I really wanted to do sports journalism, sports broadcasting. But when I got to college, I realized I can't concentrate in the locker room. This is too hard. Like I said
the athletes are like, my eyes are up here.
I did not expect that as an answer.
I said I'm not going to be able to do this because this is too much. This is too much.
Kim was like, so how did the game go today?
Well, wait, do you mean it like that? Do you mean like too much nakedness as in yuck, get it away from me? Or do you mean like too much nakedness as in goddamn?
I mean a combination.
You mean goddamn. Okay.
Goddamn.
Okay, so y'all as a man, I'm sure y'all can relate, right? Everyone kind of has like their preference, right? Who is your nigga? Like, whew. So like them tight end bodies, woo! Them niggas 6'3", 230. Jesus, please stay away from me, please. Don't look at me, don't look at me. Go over there. Like I can't. I can't
and they wear biker pants too. That's the worst. Like biker shorts.
Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. That's
Why
why
scandal after scandal.
That's why I had no problems in entertainment because I didn't find too many of them niggas to be cute. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't.
They came in with saggy pants, so they was like,
but they're always their bravado never matches their actual appearance, right? Everyone's bigger on TV and bigger in the video. And you meet them, and it's like, oh, you know, like I have a picture with Mobb Deep. I think somewhere on my Instagram.
Well, y'all probably look like the Three Stooges. Y'all the same height.
And she's like, and they were round and short, and she's like, yeah. Your prototype, if you had your choice of your dithers, would be it's the tight end bod.
It's hard to resist that tight end body.
That wide receiver
body. Woo! Woo! Baddest nigga I ever seen in real life was TJ Houshmandzadeh, nigga. He used to he used to play for the Bengals, right, Chad? Was he a receiver for the Chat? I seen this nigga in person. I almost fell down. I was like, God damn, nobody should be that fucking fine and cut. Get out of here. I'd have to shoo them away. Go away. I don't stand a chance. Not with you. I don't stand a chance versus you. You understand? Like you'd be able to literally tell me anything and I'd be like, okay.
What time do you want dinner?
Right.
Never.
Go away, TJ Houshmandzadeh, fine ass.
So that ended your sports career. You're like, you know what? I'll do some other kind of job.
I gotta do something else. But I love sports though. Still love football, baseball, basketball. I don't watch basketball as much as I used to, but I used to. I mean, I was into it.
The playoffs is good right now
at Comcast Sportsnet. And in Philly, when I was in Philly, I had an internship at Comcast Sportsnet. I used to pull the time codes for highlights, for the sports recap shows. I would do the time codes. and it was the Final Four. And I remember I filled out, just for shits and giggles, I had filled out a bracket at Comcast Sportsnet. And then when I came after the tournament was over, I remember I came back for my internship, and they were like, "Did you fill this out?" I was like, "Yeah." They were like, "You came in like 4th or 5th in the pool." Like these white men were super impressed that I had picked 3 out of the 4 Final Four that year. And I'm like, "Nigga, I know this shit. I do watch
basketball." I just saw, like, and I don't know it anymore. 20 years ago, I knew everybody in the NBA. Now I look at it and I'm like, I don't know who these players are. I don't know who these folks are. I don't know who none of them are no more. But I did see some thing with a dude from the Bucks. I guess is he like Nigerian brother?
Giannis.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how good he was supposed. Like, he's like, but like some dude's father came on the court to try to harass him and stuff like that. But he always seems like he's getting into a little scrub.
He is. He talk a lot of this thing. He talk a lot of junk. But Lakers lost last night. They are out. LeBron is going fishing with his son. They are out for the night. So we got some good playoffs still going on tonight. We got Houston and
who's expected?
Georgia.
Who's expected to win it all? Boston?
Golden State. Well, actually, Cleveland is number 1 on the East.
Cleveland?
Right. That shit is crazy. And then on the West, I don't know. It's looking like OKC. It's looking like it's going to be OKC in either Cleveland or Boston. So,
where's my man at? Where's my man? The guard, the one he likes us. He wanted to be the flat earther.
Kyrie?
Yeah, where's Kyrie at?
He's at home in LA.
Well, he's at home right now for the playoffs.
Clippers.
What team is he on?
He's for the Mavericks.
Did they make it to the playoffs?
Nah, that's what I just said. He's home.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Well, he was at the game last night watching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Aww.
Anyway, I know. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a very quick break, and then we're going to come back. I just wanted to get some props. Y'all can actually stay on screen, but y'all ain't got to go nowhere.
No, you got to do a break, B.
You ain't like you got somewhere to go. You just got on screen. All right.
But I came rushing in. I didn't really get I had to take the kids. I had to set everything up, which I didn't do correctly. You saw the light.
I want to hear that shit. Yo, welcome back to the Remix Morning Show, where people, they got excuses. Anyway, let's go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare. And you can be a team member by donating also to blkliberationmedia.org. And donate. We are demonetized, so that will help. Your support will help us to continue going. All right. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the 2025 inductees in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who am I talking about? Big up to Outkast for making it. Big up to Salt and Pepper and Chubby Checker. That rhyme right there. Outkast, Salt and Pepper, and Chubby Checker. You know what I'm saying? But the contributions that they have, especially this fact that Salt and Pepper is just making it, is crazy to me. But and Chubby Checker, who changed the game in the rock and roll pop and all that. But they always been Hall of Famers in our book. So that's what it is. Quick break right here on the Remix Morning Show. Not much more to say. I ain't even get them time to go to the bathroom. All right, let's go ahead and get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show.
People don't know the stress I'm dealing with day to day.
All right.
Ooh, I feel
favorite Outkast album.
It's Aquemini. Stop playing with me.
Okay.
Even though
Elevators.
ATLians, honorable nod, Southern Playalistic, Funky Cadillac Music, honorable nod, roof.
And then their biggest album is Love Below, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Stereo speaker box and Love Below.
Yeah. Well, it was the most commercially successful, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
But I wouldn't say it was their best.
Nah, you're right. That Aquemini ain't no joke.
Yeah, Aquemini.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got to play Aquemini on the radio. That shit made my day. I was so happy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, congratulations to Outkast. And who are the other inductees? I know there were
Salt and Pepper and Chubby Checker. Yep.
I thought Chubby Checker would have been in.
You would have thought that, right?
Yeah. Is he like a one-hit wonder with the twist, and that's why?
He had a couple other songs, but Twist was definitely that big one. Come on, baby, do that twist.
you only naming are you only naming the black ones? Okay, that's fine.
Oh yeah, come on.
Take it. Okay.
You got Cyndi Lauper.
Interesting that Cyndi Lauper made the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but okay.
Soundgarden.
Okay, Soundgarden. I'll take it.
I never listened to them, so I don't.
You should. Soundgarden. Soundgarden is a good representation of that mid-90s, early to mid-90s Seattle grunge alternative rock sound. Chris Cornell, a white with a voice. Shout out to Chris Cornell. Rest in peace, God. But yes, I'll take Soundgarden.
Okay. You could take them right around with you.
I will.
All right. Later.
In my eyes, indisposed, in disguises no one knows, lies a name, lies a flame in you. You got to check out some Soundgarden here, Doctor. You missing out on life.
I don't know who that is either, though.
I know, because y'all Brooklyn up top niggas, y'all. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with
Chris
y'all.
Rock said we got them nigga ears.
Yeah, you do. That's okay. That's all right. I'll take y'all nigga ears. Anyway, slap them at me, Doctor. All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's the Thursday edition of the Remix Morning Show. Here we are live on Black Liberation Media, coming to you somewhere on the internet streaming streets. Shout out to all our folks watching us live in the chat this morning, better known as the Remixers, our BLM faithful. We appreciate you all so much. Show your appreciation in return. Please like the video, subscribe if you are not already, and check us out over at patreon.com/Black Liberation Media to get some abundance of exclusive content to elevate, educate, and entertain in some cases. So it's me, Kim Brown. We've got Kamal Franklin, the ear doctor in the cut. Again, a good remix family in the chat. And Kamal, I am still phoneless. So I am relegated. My news consumption. I'm like, this is the point in time where I need a newspaper subscription. I'm like, what the fuck? Because I'm just relying on watching television news.
Now, wait a minute. Your phone, you don't have a phone right now?
I'm in between phone carriers and providers because I switched providers. My new provider was some trash, so I'm trying to switch back to my old provider. But in the interim, I sent the new provider their phone back, but the phone, my old phone that I had, got broken. So now I'm waiting for the new provider to credit my account for all the shit I've already paid until I can go buy a new phone. It's hundreds of dollars in these cell phones. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that is hell yeah.
I guess burner, but I want, no.
I've been staying with carriers for like 20 years. I was like, I'm not switching.
No. I've learned the error of my ways. I will never leave Boost Mobile again. Boost, I'm sorry.
I was T-Mobile, long-time Verizon, and now it's AT&T. On the sneak, Verizon was the best, in terms of T-Mobile. We kept it cheap, but their coverage. Verizon, AT&T overpromised and underdelivered. But I'm with them now, so I'm gonna leave it. But I got some news. Up.
Let's get into it.
So first and foremost, we want to say happy anniversary. Today or yesterday marked the 50th year of the fall of the liberation. The liberation of Saigon. I love it. This is Vietnam. They're reenacting the kids breaking through the U.S. embassy in Saigon, now Ho Chi Minh City, celebrating 50 years of independence.
All right, can you take that off the screen and say everything you just said?
Oh, I said you couldn't hear that? Oh my God. I
hear
was so
you.
happy. I was so happy. I'm sorry. So yesterday marked the 50th anniversary of the Vietnamese liberation of their country from American forces, what America likes to term as the fall of Saigon, but which others like to say is the liberation of Saigon, the liberation of what is now known as Ho Chi Minh City. So that was a reenactment by children in Vietnam of them breaking through the gates of the U.S. Embassy. And as everybody remember, well, not everybody remember, but there's a lot of famous scenes of the helicopters whisking away not only U.S. personnel, but South Vietnamese who sided with the invaders, what we would commonly term as sellouts. And the Vietnamese people were free from that moment, at least, from U.S. occupation and what they term as a 30-year war, but a war that was much longer than that. Obviously, well, again, I don't want to say obviously the French were recolonizing Vietnam post-World War II. The United States paid for most of that war. And then when the French were defeated at Dien Bien Phu, and I think in 1954, elections were promised. No elections were ever held. Instead, the U.S. set up a puppet government in the south of Vietnam, known as the sort of south of the 17th parallel, where troops are supposed to one side go one way, one side go another way until elections created a fake country, and hence began, in some ways, the Vietnam War, first with so-called U.S. advisors, then a steady stream of troops. Over 54,000 U.S. soldiers were killed in that war. Over 3 million, some estimates say even more than that, 3 million Vietnamese were killed defending their country against a U.S. invasion, which again never gets really spoken about in mainstream press. The damage, the murder, the killing, the hoarding people into basically concentration camps, the burning of villages, the dropping of napalm, and so forth and so on. So chemical warfare, all types of warfare used against the Vietnamese people, but they ultimately were successful. And this article is an article, I think, that is reprinted from the day of the war from The Guardian. I'll read a couple of paragraphs and get into it. The 30-year-old Vietnam War is over. The Saigon government today unconditionally surrendered to communist forces, ordering its soldiers to hand over the weapons to liberation troops. It was a scene some had never expected to see and others had tried to imagine, but never succeeded in envisioning. The North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong rode into the Saigon. The Viet Cong are basically the National Liberation Front, which was mainly made up, again, one of the technical or propaganda errors, was mainly made up by Southern Vietnamese from the South, obviously connected to the North, but it was mainly made up of Vietnamese from the South. And Viet Cong was a derogatory way of referring to them, but these was troops and soldiers, obviously interconnected with the North, but most of these troops and soldiers were part of the South and wanted to go home to the South to fight after the 17th parallel was created. Says T-54 tanks flying, the red and white flag of the Liberation Armed Forces going before, and the camouflage Molotov trucks, of the infantry, grinding olive-skinned boys in dark green uniforms, following after a triumphant entry into the heart of the city. And so this is part of the coverage that was given in The Guardian 50 years ago. So I just thought it was a good thing to report that that this is the anniversary. Yes, it was the anniversary of the liberation of Vietnam from U.S. forces.
I'm really interested in the trajectory of Vietnam post the Vietnam War because, I don't think that they're not a capitalist country, right? I mean, this is a communist nation still. I mean, they may do capitalism in their economy. I don't fucking know, to be honest, but
I call it more of a state-run economy that has capitalist features, much like China. It's like a state capitalist country. I think there's debate within around what that means, but there's a lot of private enterprise. and again, similar trajectory similar to China at some point, more pure in its attempts to create a communist country and an economic engine, but also the idea of more private enterprise or state or enterprises that were set up by the state, that are resources are given by the state to help us going. Again, there's debate and discussion around how well workers are treated in terms of the opening up and having foreign corporations in China in the country and the treatment of workers. So there's a lot of debate and discussion, but there's no doubt that, again, similar to China, but not exactly, many people have been lifted out of poverty in terms of some of the industry, but always the big question of like, is that what people want to turn in the first place? So I think there's a lot of discussion and debate. It is still officially a communist country in terms of its government and the ways in which it distributes resources, but it has a somewhat more mixed economy than it did post, let's say, the Vietnam War.
But in obviously the issues pertaining to how workers are treated is a substantial one. But overall, Vietnam seems to be thriving. Do I read that right? Like they seem to be doing pretty good over there.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah, I think they, again, even during the war, again, because the South Vietnam was a fake nation and it was never a nation called South Vietnam except when the Americans created it. The Vietnamese wanted national independence. And at some point in their history, they were actually willing to work with the United States to get that independence. Ho Chi Minh famously, when he declared independence from all foreign invaders, but particularly the French, cited the U.S. Constitution. Ho Chi Minh famously during World War II worked with the United States. He was agent number 19, if I'm not mistaken, with the precursor to the CIA to help return down U.S. pilots to the United States. So he, at one point, although a committed communist even at that point, was far willing to work with and thought he could work with other nations, no matter what their economic bearing, for the liberation of his country. So he was also a nationalist as well as a communist in terms of like his first and foremost idea was to make his country free from foreign invaders. And so I say that to say that he was willing to work with different groups and different peoples for the betterment of the country. But the Vietnamese always first and foremost wanted their country free. And not those foreign invaders included it, and throughout their history, China, the French, the Japanese, the Americans, China again. Vietnam is also a history of a country fighting for its independence. The U.S. being the most, ghastly of invaders and foreign occupiers in terms of the murders and the killings and the near genocide that they perpetrated in the bombings. But it's a history of like liberation from foreign invaders.
A model.
Yes.
Perhaps,
There is a new documentary on Netflix that, although I don't think it's the best documentary, I think it came out yesterday. I looked at a couple of episodes. But one of the things it pointed out was at some point it said that 70% of the recruits at one point were women, Vietnamese women, who made up. And people don't, again, we don't see that because of propaganda. Because people don't go to read about Vietnam, but the Vietnamese, the National Liberation Front, the Liberation Army was significantly made up of women and again peasants, right? Women from the farm, women who saw the villages being burnt, who saw their kids being killed and murdered or whatever, who joined. And there's some famous pictures of some women soldiers walking with guns, with these huge U.S. soldiers that they captured and stuff like that. So people don't even understand the full societal societal participation.
Everybody was in it.
Everybody was in it. Yeah.
Grandmamas, granddaughters.
Yes.
And the soldiers. Yes. Vietnam, the Vietnam War or the Vietnam invasion from America. I mean, to your point about the genocide, I mean, it's still leaving lasting effects in not just Vietnam, but Southeast Asia, in Laos, in Cambodia. They're still dealing with thousands of unexploded munitions from the war. We're talking about some 50 years ago. It's still having dire environmental and ecological impacts. And then, just the human rights violations committed by the American military. What was it? The My Lai massacre that they lied about. Of course they lied. That's all they do is fucking lie. But to me, I don't understand how the military was able to recruit new soldiers after Vietnam, because it's like the horrific things that the soldiers did while they were deployed, and then when they came back, as a kid of the 80s, that was a big cultural story about the number of Vietnam veterans in particular that were homeless, that were, not that having any health care. Veterans Affairs wasn't taking care of them. And it's like, it doesn't pay to be a foot soldier for the empire, because you come back and you don't even get taken care of. You go over there, lose your soul, commit, inhumane acts, killing innocent people, children included. And then you come back, and what do you get for that? You get to sleep in a box in DC.
And the amount of, like, the post-traumatic stress disorder of these soldiers, and like you said, there's no support for them. A lot of these are working class people. And the other thing about the Vietnam War is that Black folks disproportionately represented upwards of like 20 to 25%, of the infantry or of the frontline troops at the time, and Black folks making up 12% of the population at the time, and Black men in particular making up 6%. So you're talking about 6% of the U.S. population representing 25 to 30% of the war, the frontline soldiers, for a war that people didn't want to go to anyway. And I think for a long time after Vietnam, there was what they would call a malaise, right? I think part of the history is the United States didn't engage in large-scale warfare the way that they did in Vietnam for a long time. They continued, of course, to overthrow nation states. They continued with the CIA. They can continue to partake in giving money for insurgencies and so forth. But the United States, for upwards of 20 to 25 years, did not engage in large-scale insurgencies. In fact, what the United States would do is, we remember the first Iraq War or whatever, they would continue the idea of aerial warfare, bomb dropping, but not putting troops on the ground. And it wasn't until later on with Iraq that the United States got back into the on-the-ground invasion game, and again paid another lesson in terms of Iraq, and to a larger extent Afghanistan. And as Malcolm famously said, the United States or the West was not ready for guerrilla warfare. They could not ready for to be on the ground face to face in terms of guerrilla warfare. And the United States, for the most part, has continually shown that in conventional wars it can win. But the idea of putting troops on the ground and holding a country when people are fighting for their liberation and their freedom, those folks have a different motivation. And I think that's also part of that history. But there was a long time where the military could not recruit at the same numbers. But again, because of the way the economy is structured,
people with alternatives to people.
Yeah, through time, it's like, offer this benefit, offer that benefit, offer this benefit, and you're not getting that in private industry. And so where else do you go? Where else are you going to turn to? So.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of echoes coming from the Trump White House as it pertains to rebuilding Ukraine, to take over Gaza and rebuild. I'm like, when has U.S. been good at nation building again? What's the example in which we build a nation, and what? Sounds bad ideas.
Yeah. And, and to that one final point, to the point you made, is, and then Trump has recently cut off all the resources that was given to international agencies to get the unexploded mines out of Vietnam and Laos. Yeah. So that's all been cut off, and folks again left to their own. And again, never did the United States pay any reparations, of course, to Vietnam after killing, again, upwards of 3 million people. Again, some people say more, and the total destruction of large parts of the country. And in fact, at one point, it's been noted that part of the war wasn't necessarily when the United States realized that it wasn't going to have a full military victory, although every major battle, the thinking is the United States probably quote unquote won those battles, as in they seized that whatever land that temporarily speaking will be back. But when nighttime came and the United States retrenched itself back where it was, those lands were taken back over by the indigenous insurgency. And so even as it won the quote unquote major battles of the war, even the Tet Offensive, it only they kept on putting the propaganda out that this was the end of the war, that the enemy was done, the enemy could not recover from this. And time again, the Vietnamese continued to battle the United States. And so at some point, the United States, basically their war plan was just to destroy the country, right? Just to, as they would say, to carpet bomb it back to the Stone Age, right? There was something that, like, particularly under the Nixon administration and Kissinger. So at that point, it was all about bombing, and maybe up until the Gaza bombing, in terms of density and geography, more weapons or bombs were dropped in Vietnam, in terms of its tonnage and maybe even numbers, than the whole World War II. And that's the type of aggression that the United States, in particular, put on Vietnam, but still lost the war, and the Vietnamese people kicked them out and kicked out the sellouts. I must say, though, I do enjoy Vietnamese food from the descendants of the folks, I think, who came over during that time.
What's it? PHO, pronounce it. Pho?
Pho.
No, pho.
I think it's pho.
It is pho because it's supposed to be close to pho. That's how I remember.
I love Vietnamese food. It is delicious. I want to go to, there's a restaurant in DC called Moon Rabbit. I've been wanting to try.
Oh, somebody just called me sexy.
Oh, shout out to you, get in the chat, trying to make him out feel good.
You sexy as shit. I think they had to be talking about me in the chat. So, appreciate you. Are you coming up here, Doctor, for a break?
I thought they was talking about me. They heard my voice.
They say you. Hold on. They said you. There's 3 U's up here. Who's you? Which you?
Well, they heard me mispronounce pho. They was like, damn, who is that? Whose daddy is that?
No, shout out. I mean, come out. What could we learn from the resistance movement of the Vietnamese? Everybody needs to be a shooter. That's the takeaway. Everybody needs to be a shooter. Everybody, grandma, baby girl, everybody needs to be a shooter.
And they didn't care about the U.S. firepower, the weaponry, the time it took. Again, this is a country or people that endured decades, if not centuries, of colonization and continued to fight. They weren't satisfied, most of them, not all of them, right? They weren't satisfied with getting the trinkets that Americans gave them to prop them up as leaders. The vast majority of the Vietnamese continued to fight for the liberation and freedom. And that's what we can learn. That even with the power, the technological advantages, the war machine advantages, these people fought. They fought hard, and they fought, and they won. They are an ideological commitment to the liberation of their people and their land overcame it all.
Why do I feel like a kinship of sorts with Southeast Asians, like particularly like Vietnamese, Cambodians, Laotians, like the people of those descents that I've encountered here in the U.S. are usually Negro friendly. Like, I'm not, to my awareness, I'm not encountered anti-blackness from Vietnamese. Not saying it doesn't exist. Of course, it exists everywhere, but I don't know. I feel like they're, out of all the Asians, the Vietnamese, the Laotians, and the Cambodians, a little bit closer to us.
They know how to fry some chicken.
I mean, that's part of it.
You do look kind of Cambodian-ish to me. Okay.
I know you not talking.
I'm part of it for you. Yeah, you definitely got some father and mama. I don't know. Whoa. Somebody's Vietnamese in your family. But anyway, I was going to say that the and part of the war propaganda for the Vietnamese was that they were united, even with the black soldiers. They were, there was a lot of propaganda directed towards black soldiers saying, "Why are you here? Why are you fighting us? What have we done to you?" Like your real enemy is Uncle Sam, just like us. And then we had the beautiful breaks of people like Muhammad Ali, who famously said, "No Viet Cong, no Vietnamese never called me nigger. Why am I going over there to kill my brother?" And he called on my brother. He called on my sister. You know what I mean? So other oppressed people fighting. And those were huge moments, even in terms of the turning of the tide here. A lot of it was because of the draft, of course, but still there was a political turn particularly amongst young folks who did not want to be associated with bombing kids. And that LBJ, how many kids have you killed today? So
well, after all that, I think we need a mental health break, and we'll come back with some more right here on the Remix Morning Show. All right, I guess it's about time for a remix on the remix. So let's do it up for you right here on the Remix Morning Show.
Oh, yes. You may not be a movie star. You may not drive a big fast car, but I love you in every way. I love you in every way. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. Oh, why? Oh, yes. Woman, you may not be waiting and drive a fast car. Come in and go left you out and we are home from far. You remember when we only have one hour shirt and you muggle with me in your tight up skirt. As long as we live on Mars and God the earth, me now forget where me come from. Me now go dish your dirt. I'll keep on loving you. Always. I don't know why. Oh, why? I don't know why. Oh, why?
All right, let me take you to a time and place. Let me take you back to 2003 off that Beg for Mercy album, G-Unit, featuring the artist Joe. The name of that song is Wanna Get to Know You. Mixed with a little bit of 2006 off that album Don't Have To. Buju Banton with Wayne Wonder. Name of that song is Bonafide Love. Hit that like button, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare, and donate at blkliberationmedia.org. Donate, and support what we doing here, and we shall continue to support you, giving you that content. All right, let's get back to the crew. Now they do.
Homemade. I wanna get to know the big lawyer. I really understand. Baby, one dose of your loving, all loving, all loving, all loving.
So good. So good.
Thank you.
You are a worker of a DJ.
Hey, I'm trying to get in the union or something. Man, but yeah, good times right there. Buju Banton and that Wayne Wonder Bonafide Love. Man, I remember being in the little dance halls up against the wall. Ooh, what?
Like a Sean Paul video, my nigga.
Yes. What? Where you been? What?
I love that Wayne Wonder had a moment. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good time, man. Oh, man. Back when we used to dance without having to be in a line dance song.
You hate the line dance. You don't hesitate.
I respect it even after what, even with the Sinners movie and stuff like that. I respect line dances going back as a cultural thing. It's just I like individual dances too, but is that not it's not a communistic? Is that the word?
Oh
no, don't mix it. No.
Again.
But yeah, who wants
what you get? Did you get it though?
Coordination.
Communistic.
Yeah. It's one thing if it happens like five, it would happen like the 30 minutes and then everybody went back to, but it's another thing. It's like the next 6 hours of like coordinated dancing. You're like
communal. There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
What's it?
Yeah.
I think more people would freestyle dance if they felt a little less self-conscious. And the reason why people don't just let loose and let the music into their body is because they're worried someone's running tape on them, and they're going to become a viral meme moment unbeknownst to them. Which by the way, it's very fucked up, I think, to record people in public and post it and be like, "Look at this motherfucker!" Like, what are y'all? What is everything
That's
okay?
what you're going out to do.
You?
That's why you're going out, so you can record people and put it up.
Now it's about where them fans at? Where them fans at? That's the line dance, boots to the ground right now. I'm just like, oh my God. I was at a prom. I DJ'd the prom and the parent came and was like, before the kids come here, can you put that boots on the ground on? It's like, oh. Yes.
For $5. Yes, I can.
Okay, right. All right. More news.
I got some. You know, I don't think we talked about this story. And it's one of these stories that if this was Black folks, it was Arabs or Muslims, and they had surrounded a woman in the middle of the street and chased her down, it would have been front page news for all over the country, right? And as well as it should have been. So in Crown Heights, do you know about this, Kim? You look like the Hasidim community surrounded a woman who it was doing a Palestinian protest when a right-wing Israeli government official was visiting Crown Heights and being hosted by the Orthodox Jewish community. Sorry, that's the wrong one.
Boo, I thought the Orthodox was against Zionism.
There's different Orthodox communities also. So the particular Orthodox community in Crown Heights is very Zionist. So a few days ago in Crown Heights, when they were hosting a official who was a very right-wing official from Israel, obviously not originally from Israel, but from Israel, there was counter protests of Palestinians. Now, apparently a woman came out of her house who was not a part of the pro-Palestinian and or anti-genocide protest. She actually came out because she saw the commotion and wanted to see. And then she put a mask up, and the Hasidim mistakenly thought that she was part of the protest and she was alone. And this is some of what happened next.
Your John voice is going on.
And someone, just to be clear, they were shouting "Death to the Arabs." They in some of the video that she had herself, there were men threatening to rape her or kill her.
Listen up. Your John voice is going on.
So this one cop tried to lead her away. I don't see him calling for backup. Although obviously what he's doing is good. I do not see him calling for backup. This is also, they threw a cone at her. They were grabbing at her. No arrest. To be clear, no arrest whatsoever. So this has become a bigger story, but it's only become a bigger story now because people filmed it and put it all over social media. Outside of that, this story, I'm so sorry. People said they couldn't hear my commentary. So I wanted a couple of quick things. There was the one cop who was leading her out, and it's a good thing that the cop was there, obviously, to do so. But he did not call for backup right away, or he did not. Other cops did not come rushing in. There were no arrests made, no arrest of anyone in that mob who was attacking that woman. The woman was not a part of the pro-Palestinian and or anti-genocide counter demonstrations that were being had because a right-wing Israeli official was visiting making a visit in Crown Heights. And so that was what brought out the counter protests. But there was no arrest of any of the mob that surrounded her. The mob was, as in said in the video, shouting "Death to Arabs." There were people in the mob when there's some other angles of her filming the crowd itself, and you can see people threatening to rape her, to kill her, to murder her. And again, to be clear, not that it makes that much of a difference, but she was not even a part of the counter. She was not there. That she came out of her house, wherever she lived, or came out and saw the commotion and put the mask up because she saw people filming and she did not want to be filmed. And then the Orthodox Jews mistook her for a pro-Palestinian and or anti-genocide protester and surrounded her and followed her. And again, pushed her, kicked her, shoved assaulted her. And then she was led away.
Which was very clearly a hate crime based off their words, right? Death to Arabs, threatening to rape her. That is gender-based violence threats. Like that's an enhanced charge. I don't know the New York Penal Code, but I'm pretty sure they got something like that on the books. So this woman was repeatedly assaulted by numerous people in plain view of the police, and these motherfuckers did fuck all.
Yeah,
that is, I'm sorry, Camille, I couldn't discern the ethnicity of the lady. What did she?
She might have been white. She just happened to be there. You know what I mean? She just happened to be there. But because she put up a mask, because she didn't want her face filmed, because everybody had our cameras, the crowd immediately thought that she was then part of the protest and surrounded her. So
I just wanted to make sure that she didn't receive zero protection because she was a Black woman or a non-white woman. But you said she appeared to be white.
She appeared to be white, but I couldn't be sure, but she appeared to be white. Yeah. And you're right. It could be that, like, you know what I mean? Like in other instances where there's been protests and counter protests, it's been the protesters, the pro-Palestinian and or anti-genocide protesters who have been the ones who have been arrested. Someone said that she's actually Jewish. So she clearly was targeted by this crowd. And at no point, I don't think the cop did a bad thing. He obviously ushered her out and gave her a sense of protection. But at no point did the police come and start making arrests, or at no point did the police rush in, hearing that one of their fellow police officers was surrounded by a mob, right? That did not happen at all. And could you imagine if Arabs or Palestinians had surrounded a woman, or surrounded anybody, surrounded a Jewish person, the headlines that would be screaming, particularly from the New York Times, particularly from all the different media? It would be a front page story for the next month and a half.
Right? Well, that's all we heard, right? Coming out of Columbia University and some of these other colleges, college campuses where the pro-Palestinian demonstrations were very prevalent, is that Jewish students were being made to feel unsafe on campus with all the anti-Semitism. I said, name it, list it. What is it? What's the anti-Semitism that people are supposedly experiencing? I don't ever recall groups of pro-Palestinian supporters surrounding Jewish folks and saying death to Jews. I don't think they said that. I think they said stop the genocide, which does not equate death to Jews, but death to Arabs is very plain. Mm-hmm. And obviously she being a woman and these attackers being men put her in a very precarious situation, even with the so-called protection of the one lone cop. We've seen other confrontations with different demographics in which police would have opened fire or used force in a situation because their officer felt in fear for their lives, right? Mm-hmm. Usually with much less levels of aggression than that was demonstrated there. this is an atrocity, an abomination. Like, people need to be caught up on charges on this, and I'm wondering if Eric Adams and NYPD are being called to the carpet about what the fuck are you doing to protect the rights of everyday New Yorkers who just happen to step out of their residence to encounter a protest, and then they get attacked by Zionists. Like, are we gonna say something about that, Eric Adams? Or
They finally have done a press conference because of the way the video being all over the internet of her being. So they finally did come out with a press conference. Obviously said it was terrible what took place and they're doing investigations, but only because they were forced to do so, in my estimation, because of the way in which this has been all over social media. That this person was followed for literally blocks, and this mob, again, like you said, assaulted her as she was walking. It was only then that they came out and said something. Again, no arrest at the scene, no cops separating the crowd from her and lining up and threatening and making arrests. It made me go back to like the Crown Heights Rebellion, when the Hasidic ambulance ran over Gavin Cato and killed him. And the reaction of the Black community was to come out and march in the street, not surround Jews and so forth, but to march in the street, challenging the murder and the fact that no arrests were made. And again, it was huge all over the newspapers at the time. Cops came out on horseback to separate the Black community from the Hasidic community. And when I say separate, I mean to keep Black folks in our part of Crown Heights. I remember coming home and from the subway, and a line of like 100 or so cops on horsebacks with small openings for us to get through to go to our side of Crown Heights, right? So that was the level of police encounters, or the amount of police that came out into the street to make sure, in their estimation, the so-called Hasidic community was protected. There was also times during that. There was also an incident during that time where the Hasidim actually went and destroyed a precinct, a police precinct. Again, no arrest at that particular time. They let them come in, they let them knock things over, they let them break glass, and then they let them leave, right? You cannot imagine that same scenario without arrests, without something else taking place. If the Black community or another community came out against something that the police were doing and used those tactics without there being some retribution happening to that larger community on the spot or in a moment. So that is what folks are dealing with. The Hasidim have always been overly protected in Crown Heights. Their numbers they do not make up the majority of Crown Heights by any significant portion. But at some point in the history, they did control vis-a-vis voting as a block, the city council person, other different offices. And it wasn't until the 70s and 80s that Black folks started to vote as a block to get some of those folks out of offices. And so it is a quote unquote insular community, but it's a community that has set up protection for itself. Mm-hmm. It is a community that set up ways in which they control real estate in a particular area. It is a community that has set up ways in which they provide, if they don't provide direct health care for each other, they have ambulance services. Even in terms of getting on public assistance, they have ways in which they help their old folks get on public assistance so that they can have more money coming into their community. So it is a well-organized religious community in Crown Heights, but again, by no means the largest, and at times, of course, looked upon in a certain way, but a community that has established itself as a powerhouse and a Zionist powerhouse in the middle of Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and has been there for the longest of times. So
I know you're not an expert per se on Judaism demographics in America, but like I was under the mistaken impression, I don't know, silly me, but I thought that Jewish people who are Orthodox were against Zionism because of the teachings of the Torah. So I'm curious how many Orthodox Jews are pro-Zionist versus anti-Zionist, because now Now I'm in confusion because I was ignorant. Now I
No,
didn't.
no. I won't know the numbers, but it is a minority of the Orthodox. This particularly in Crown Heights, I think it's the Hasidic Orthodox community. It is a minority of Orthodox Jews. It's a particular sect that reads the Torah in a certain way that says this is not the fulfillment of biblical prophecy to reestablish the so-called country of Israel by Europeans on Palestinian land. So it is a sect, as you know, as in the Islamic community, you have Shiites and Sunni, and even amongst that, you have break-off groups even within those. So very similar. The Orthodox community, Orthodox, I think really is an umbrella term. This means in terms of the level of religious fervor and prayer and separating themselves from society. But you have different Orthodox communities, and some of which are anti-Zionist. But there's, I think, the Hasidim, particularly in the Crown Heights area, are one of the larger. And in fact, there was one video that showed the Hasidic Orthodox community attacking another Orthodox Jew who was anti-genocide and pro-Palestinian. They actually have a video. It's the same night that this happened. Damn. Where he was pushed down to the ground and kicked and shoved and had a garbage can threw on him because of his anti-Zionist views and anti-genocide views.
It's going to be a hot summer in New York. Let that have been Venezuelan migrants jumping on somebody, a white woman. Oh, whoa.
The story, it would have been incredible. I mean, we would have had day. I mean, I brought up Kyrie Irving earlier. I remember when he posted something on like he posted a book, right? Some kind of book for people to read. That was I guess the interpretation that it was an anti-Semitic book. I don't remember the book itself, but that got New York Times front page coverage for a week.
Right.
A week. Right. A week. Right. There were opinion pieces. There were different analysis. I mean, it was a huge story. Someone said I think it was about a movie, but it was a huge story about a basketball player, an individual basketball player, not threatening anybody's lives, not making a statement about Zionism or whatever or anything of that nature. But a huge story in New York, and particularly the New York Times, right, the official paper of record, that basically chased this guy out of New York, right? But the level of coverage, the level of hysteria, the level that the mainstream or corporate media covered that story was, again, to show you that they will put you in your place if you speak about the wrong people, right? If you tell us again, I'm not even suggesting I know in depthly what he was pushing or putting up there, whatever like that. But if you do something that talks about the quote unquote wrong people, then you are an enemy. And as you said earlier, the encampments, the colleges, all of the motion that was against the genocide basically has been flipped by mainstream media, by corporate media, particularly the New York Times, to all be about anti-Semitism, which the Trump administration uses continuously to now batter these institutions, which are already, mainstream institutions, but to batter them further into quelling anti-genocide protests on campus.
Exactly. And to confuse and manipulate, because I'm gonna take people at their word. If they're saying that there's been a rise in anti-Semitism on college campuses, I'll buy it. What I don't buy is that it's pro-Palestinians that are behind the anti-Semitism. My assumption is that the anti-Semitic remarks or treatment that Jewish students are receiving on campus are probably from whom they've always received anti-Semitic treatment from, and that's the whites. That is the white nationalists. That is the white supremacists. That is the Jews will not replace us crowd. So I want the media, even though they won't ever, and even the Jewish students who claim that they were receiving anti-Semitic treatment, be honest about who's doing it. You know who's doing it. It's the Euros. You know who it is. You know it. It's Trump supporters. It's MAGA supporters. It's the Charlottesville crowd. It's it's those folks. So let's be serious here. But when it comes to being perceived as being pro-Palestinian and being vulnerable to a violent attack, there you go. But there was also a recent and again, I don't know what's going on in New York. New York's on fire. There's so much happening in New York City. It's pretty overwhelming. But there was a recent I believe racially motivated attack against a teenage black boy. I'm pretty certain it was at a Brooklyn subway station where he was surrounded and beaten by a white mob. And his mother, I saw the press conference with his mom. She was very upset, like wondering where the police were. And again, I also too wonder where the police are when there are incidents that happen at these subway stations, when passengers are actually in danger, as opposed to NYPD marshaling 3 or 4 cops to shoot somebody who's a turnstile jumper, right? So it's like the cops can't be found when passengers are being targeted for violence by others, but it's don't let nobody jump that turnstile. You'll find NYPD on the scene lickety split.
No, that's completely correct. Like, and I think even further, and they had that ability, that other video that was shown that night was that they surrounded Palestinian supporters, anti-genocide marchers, when they got on the subway and started pushing them towards the subway train. And people were like, "What are you fucking?" They're telling them to back up. It's like, back up where? Where are we backing up? It's the actual. Are we going to jump down in the tunnel or something like that? We're going to wait for a train to hit us. So that became a huge commotion. But that's where the cops were. They weren't up there, either responding or being called to come protect their lone officer who was walking this woman away from an assault. They were down, covering or gathering or trying to arrest Palestinians. In fact, there was another march. I think this was also New York, and around the same time, where a Zionist literally was on a rooftop, and the report is that he literally threw shit down on the crowd, including where the cops were. Who did the cops arrest? They arrested a pro-Palestinian marcher who was upset about what was happening. So they did not arrest. They did not go find the person on the roof. They did not call immediately to stop that. They immediately turned to arrest the Palestinian supporters, anti-genocide protesters, who were upset that little shit was being thrown at them or thrown on them. So this is the level of openness in terms of who the police work for, what their interests are, and again, not that they. I don't want to call it the benefit of the doubt. Mostly, they're ignorant foot soldiers. Some buy into the propaganda, but they do what they're told, and that's what makes them so dangerous, right? Mm-hmm. They're not thinking people. They're not reasoning around how the world works or whatever. They know they're getting paid to do a job, and they're doing that job. And if they're told the job is to focus on these people and these people are the enemy, that's what they do. And that's the part that makes them even more dangerous to me. There's not a lot of them aren't even ideological in that way. They're stupidly propagandized, right? They're just they're hordes who listen to what their masters tell them without a second thought. And they do begin to believe it, but they're not ideologues in that way. They're ideologues in a way it's like, oh, we think we're protecting the public, we're protecting the whatever. Mm-hmm. There's a book about I wish I had it close by, called Propaganda. There's a new book that just came out. We're actually going to be doing something for the author down here in Atlanta, which I know we've all heard of, but obviously goes through the ways in which he calls it the punishment industry works. Mm. And it highlights sort of the ways in which propaganda, pro-cop propaganda works. And part of that is getting that class of people themselves, or that segment of people who are involved either as cops themselves, prosecutors, prison guards, jail guards, people and other folks in the court system, to espouse how they themselves are saving or working for the public good, even when they have no idea of the larger systemic issues around society. They're just happy to have a job and they do what they're told.
And they are marketed to us as heroes and officer friendlies and people that are to be trusted, and call the police, they'll protect you. if they'll protect you if you present the right way, if you're the right color, the right gender, you can speak clearly, you're articulate, you're abled, right? Like those there it's very kind of segmented, specifically who police protect and who they don't protect. This is why I would love for us, as part of our political education, we have to inform our community in particular. Please don't call the cops. Do not call the cops to your home. If you have a family member or a loved one that's experiencing a mental health crisis and you call the police to your house for help, they are likely to show up and kill your family member. Like, the police are not there to help you. And the sooner that our folks internalize that, and that's across, most situations, right? I would say the police are unhelpful 90% of the time. Like, what percentage would you put on that, Kamal?
No, I agree with you. I was like, they're pencil pushers. They come, they take reports. They don't really stop crime. And they're there just to be they're there to be, when called, the foot soldiers for capital, right? When they're called in to break up a rally or a demonstration, or to criminalize certain groups, that's the job that they do. And you look at what's happening with the there's another story. I should have put this story up around in an ICE raid. I think it was like an ICE Homeland Security raid of a woman's home who just moved to, I think it was like Oklahoma. And I'll pull that video up after the break, where basically they came in, obviously the wrong house, but basically tore up the house, intimidated the children, the woman, took their money, their possessions, and just kind of shrugged their shoulders and like, oh well, we got to, she said one cop told her, "I know we were a little rough today." That was their reaction to like this woman bawling, "Please don't kill," and not initially identifying themselves when they came in.
See,
So I'll
that's
pull that
going
up.
bad. That's going in bad. And shit, in an unrelated sort of similar situation, people may or may not know, but I think this was a couple of months ago in Kentucky, where these fucking yokel cops, at the behest of a judge who had a weed whacker or something left at someone's house, the judge sent the cops to this man's house to retrieve his yard care item. Cops went to the wrong house, entered the house, shot and killed the man who was in his bed, didn't have shit to do with shit, and they've done a really good job of sweeping it under the rug and trying to cover up for these killer cops. And this was white people, right? So ain't nobody safe out here.
Yeah. But who keeps us safe? Our DJ keeps us safe.
That's right.
Hey, safe from whackness.
That's right.
Hey, you know what's crazy? I seen this. They doing this whole Mount Rushmore of different people, like on these memes and stuff. And I seen this one, the Mount Rushmore of scholars. What's your thoughts? Amos Wilson, Layla Africa, Steve Coakley, and Kaba. I don't even know this last dude. I'll be seeing.
First of all, if I was Steve Coakley, I would be a little upset that I got a minor kind of whatever.
What was that like? Why they make a mini me?
But I mean, yeah, these are not my Mount Rushmore. I mean, I can see Amos Wilson up there, but these are not my.
Layla Africa is about health.
Say it again.
I said Layla Africa was about health. Like,
yeah, I would put that. Obviously, that it's somebody with a particular perspective.
For real.
Who scholars are.
Who is this last dude? Kaba.
I don't know who that brother is.
Wow.
Ask the chat. Chat knows.
He must have put it together. All right. Wow. I mean, and think about it. Who would be your four scholars if it was on that Mount Rushmore? Just thoughts, chat room and stuff like that. We're gonna take a quick break and come back with your thoughts on that, and also come back with that video right here on the Remix Morning Show. All right, good people. We are out here hitting that like button, I hope, subscribing. We got over 354 people live watching right now, so go ahead and do that. Become a member on Patreon and donate to blkliberationmedia.org. Boom, we just had our celebration, our anniversary of 4 years. 4 years of the Remix Morning Show. So I just wanted to take y'all back maybe like 1 year ago and see what we was up to. This is a Remix Morning Flashback. Let's go. I feel like we need a little symmetry here. Can we do that? Let's bring it about. Okay, Franklin.
Well, we didn't have to.
We did.
Oh,
But you know, I'm a geometry type
it
guy.
wasn't entirely necessary, but okay.
Okay.
Geometry.
I said symmetry. Anyway,
That's oh, never mind.
that's algebra.
Nope.
Okay.
Leave him alone.
Yo, I had a great weekend, y'all. Listen,
Tell us about it. I saw some of your IG pics. Your
Listen.
brother is out. He is home.
My brother is out, as you can see right here. He is out. He is home. That's him with the maroon shirt on. That's my other boy E. We got a hotel room. We all watched the football game, food, drinks, and everything. And we surprised him. He didn't even know we was coming up. So
he got out. I was coming to get him.
Nah, he didn't know. All right, there you go. A year ago, right here on the Remix Morning Show. In the update, my brother is he got housing now. He was working. He's looking for another job. So big up to him for making it happen after 21 years in the Bing. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Yeah. 1 year. Yes.
We got to use the platform to help find your brother a gig. What state? What's that? Not to be all in the business, but what state is he in?
Jersey.
Okay, New Jersey. We got a formerly incarcerated brother who's looking for some employment. So please reach out to the Ear Doctor. What's your email address, Ear Doctor?
My email address will happen to be go ahead and send it to eardoctor1@yahoo.com. If you got some leads, he's around the Trenton area, Ewing, Trenton area.
Yeah.
So
that's easy work for the remixers, man. Apparently we deep out here, deeper than what the chat numbers indicate. We have the silent majority of folks that watch and never interact, in the chat or in the comments, but they are viewers nonetheless. So Trenton, Ewing, you know what I'm saying? What's your brother good at?
He's good. He's a barber, actually. He's a barber. He's he could do whatever. Work, lifting, things with your hands. You know where I got my flyness from, y'all? Since we was talking about my dad's birthday today, just wanted to give a quick shout out to my pops and moms right here. Yeah, you see that suit? Something I'm gonna be rocking a little later today, something fly like that. So big up to pops and moms smoking them cigarettes.
Suit.
Yeah. I'll see where it came from.
Pastor Troy suit.
All right. Kamal, you able to pull up the story?
I got it. Yeah, it took me a little bit.
Okay.
I was on Breakthrough News. I'm not trying to give them no free press or whatever, but I couldn't find it. They have so much goddamn stories up on Twitter. I was like, can we run our Twitter like they do a little bit? We need more stories like that. I was like, God damn, that's what happens when you get some money.
Don't be a hater, come out. It is perfectly okay to promote other independent media outlets. Shout out to Breakthrough News. Thank you, Breakthrough News, for the wonderful, in-depth, extensive reporting that they do.
They got that PSL money.
We gotta work on our Pan-Africanism.
We gotta work on our like our graphics or our whatever. Like we gotta pay somebody to do like constant whatever, right?
Something. Because all right.
Hey, Ear Doctor.
Yes, ma'am.
Pay you.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Hey, remixers. Thanks, y'all, for hanging out.
Happened?
Who knows? I don't know.
Oh. But you called him back up. You wanted to say something to him.
Oh.
She did. She said, pay me.
I said, yeah, for all the things.
You would do those videos? You could do that stuff?
I had to see what they doing first.
I was talking to Kim. Can Kim do that? I thought that's what she just said.
Kim don't got skills like that.
Oh, my bad.
All right.
First of all, I do have skills. I have several videos that I have edited myself that are on my channel, usually under my members only content. So you can locate them there. But the thing is, how you just assuming that I don't do shit? Like, what the fuck? Where's this coming from? Based on what? What is it based off of? All of a sudden, Kim can't do shit. Says who? You, nigga?
Do you have any producers or people who do shorts? I always say that's one of the things that we've been lacking is somebody who consistently can do those, like, 30-second videos, put up a little thing, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The conference will be live streamed. Yes.
Will and Molly are my team, and I wouldn't say we do it great, but we do it. So yeah. So I have folks on the back end assisting on that, but I don't edit the videos. But I do know how to edit videos.
Oh, you do know how to? Yeah, I can't do none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have figured out how to rip a video off of like different platforms and then put it on another platform.
Oh, good.
I thought that was a remarkable accomplishment. So
it is. I mean, but you're better than me, because guess what? Guess what? I would have them children in there doing after school. Shut up. Okay. Anyway,
I did find the story, so I definitely want us to look at the story. So this is in Oklahoma. Again, a woman and her family, and they just recently moved from, I think, Maryland to Oklahoma.
These Black people or Latinos?
I think they're Latino. They cover their faces. I'm making an assumption, but we will soon see. So let me make sure I do it correct. I won't do it correctly, but we'll try. See, I don't even got the sound.
Last weekend, but any semblance they had of comfort went out the window when 20 men armed to the teeth busted through it Thursday morning.
I don't know who they were. They had guns. It was dark. All the lights were off.
They were federal agents, Marissa says, with the U.S. Marshals, ICE, and the FBI.
And I keep asking them, like, who are you? What are you doing here? What's happening? And they said, we have a warrant for the house.
They ordered Marissa and her daughters outside into the rain before they could even get dressed.
They wanted me to change in front of all of them, in between all of them.
The thing is, the suspect names on that search warrant were not Marissa's or anyone in her family's. They were, however, names listed on mail still arriving at the house. Former residents, perhaps.
We just moved here from Maryland. We're citizens. That's what I kept saying. We're citizens.
She says they didn't care.
We weren't criminals. Why were they treating us like criminals? We were here by ourselves. That we didn't do anything.
The agents ripped apart every square inch of the house, taking their phones, laptops, documents, and their life savings in cash.
Wow.
As evidence.
Like, I have to feed my children. I'm going to need gas money. I need to be able to get around. Like, how do you just leave me like this, like an abandoned dog?
And when they left, they told her something.
I know it was a little rough this morning. It's so denigrating. Like, you do all of this to a family, to women, your fellow citizens, and it was a little rough. You have literally traumatized me and my daughters for life.
This family has virtually nothing.
And I said, when are we going to get our stuff back? He was like, it could be days or it could be months.
Nothing but questions.
Well, what if I would have been armed? What if you're breaking in? Right. What am I supposed to think? My initial thought is we were being robbed. My female daughter's being kidnapped.
Nothing but likely lifelong trauma.
We have guns pointed at our faces. Can you just reprogram yourself and see us as humans?
So, I mean, I have no reason. I mean, obviously, she's hitting on the citizen thing hard, but because it doesn't, for me, it doesn't matter whether she was a citizen or not. But the added so-called protection she's supposed to have based on her citizenship, and or even based on the fact that, like, are you smart enough to look at the warrant and see what the person's name is before you start breaking things up and sort of put two and two together and see, like, oh, maybe we got it wrong. But as opposed to that, they take her phone, her laptop, all of her cash, trash her house, make the family sit out in the rain, not even dressed or dressed halfway because they don't know somebody's about to break down their doors. And this is like standard behavior for them. So
that's a home invasion robbery.
Yeah.
Like that's a criminal offense. Like that's criminal behavior. And there was another video, not this extreme, thank God, but in Northern Virginia, Homeland Security agents, again, a bunch of them, like 10, 12 of them, were at this woman's house. And fortunately, she had a legal representation. Her lawyer shows up on the scene. He's recording. And they're asking, these Homeland Security agents are inquiring about where this lady is. And the lawyer is like, well, why? What has she done? Oh, we just want to do a wellness check. It's 12 of y'all out here armed to the fucking teeth. Y'all doing a wellness check. Is that right? What I want to say is, like, most of these videos, these officers are overwhelmingly white, right? Like for the video that you showed us for the comrades in Michigan, wasn't it mostly white agents running up into their place, right? Whites, here's your chance. This is your chance right now. You need to do some social isolation, some social outcasting. You need to be shunning these Homeland Security agents, these FBI agents, these ICE agents who are your neighbors, who go to your churches, whose kids play with your kids on the travel and sports team. It's time to start shunning them and socially isolating them. Like, if we can't punish them, like if we can't literally file charges against these officers and these agents for them doing overtly criminal acts and just being inhumane pieces of shit, then it's time for the social aspect to kick in. Like, shun them. Don't speak to them. Don't let your kids go over their house. Don't talk to them in church. Like, don't interact, don't socialize, don't do anything. It's time to start naming them, outing them, and isolating them, and giving them at least some sort of punishment, some pressure, some community pressure, for the shit that they're doing and terrorizing folks, because this is unacceptable. Like, these should not be welcome members of the community, these Homeland Security, ICE, and FBI agents that are doing this bullshit.
Yeah, and when she mentioned the fact that they said that, oh, it's going to take some days, maybe some months, it will take a lot of months and years sometimes, even in these situations when they take your stuff. And again, this is the kind of case where they screwed. Like, this is very similar to oh, her name just went out of my head. The sister that was killed, Breonna Taylor, right? Was killed in her sleep, where the warrant is wrong. Here, luckily, no one was killed. And so this is the easiest thing for them to just give back material and say and wrong. She's going to obviously have to do a lawsuit, but it's going to take months to get this back. So imagine if it wasn't this kind of case, it was something far more politicized and so forth, and how much time that would take and or the potential damage that would have happened. So, she is her family. And again, this is highlighted because she was able to report this, but these are no longer isolated incidents. ICE has been given a free rein basically to do this kind of stuff all over the country, in much more it's always been oppressive, but in much more oppressive ways in which they've done in the past, i.e. more mask wearing, more just taking you up off the street, again, at court appearances, in your house, at your job. And it doesn't matter if they get it wrong, right? They get it wrong, they just shrug their shoulders and go like, oh, well, on to the next. You work that out in court, right? So these things are happening at a much larger click within a shorter time period. And there is, and whatever that can be done about it won't happen for months later, because the state has basically said, this is all good. This is how we do things.
They can do civil asset forfeiture in your own house, Kamal?
Well, the truth is they could do civil asset forfeiture, and not even if you haven't been found guilty of a crime, they can take your stuff and actually sell it before you've been adjudicated in any matter whatsoever. Because the civil asset forfeiture is basically a way for them to get more resources, more than anything, right? It's, just the way a lot of these fine things work. It's a way to get more resources into the hands of the police outside of directly giving money through a city or county or state budget. So civil asset forfeitures are famously known for, it doesn't matter whether or not you were found innocent or guilty, they can take your stuff basically and sell it before you've been adjudicated as somebody who did something illegal or not. And so this type of forfeiture, again, I think at some point, because of the attention this is probably getting locally, If she hasn't already, she'll hire a lawyer. She will get some of her stuff back. Potentially there should be a lawsuit in which she will recover some of those resources, but that's going to take years. And like she pointed out herself, in terms of the being traumatized by the incident, her young daughters, herself, surrounded by armed men who aren't listening to anything that she's saying, basically telling her what she has to do, how she has to do it, hoarding her in one area, literally smashing and grabbing things in her apartment like a robbery would happen. So this person is, there is like anybody would be there. You're just defenseless, and you would feel defenseless, and you feel violated, and you feel like you can't do anything about it because you have people with large guns entering your home, right? And they're not knocking. They're not knocking politely at the door and saying, open up. They're smashing her door. They're breaking into her house, just like we saw in the video in Michigan, where they have a battering ram. They're breaking into your house. They're not polite. Oh, show me this or show me that. They're showing you who's in control by the fact that they're doing that with guns blazing. So
listen, she raised a point we should not overlook, and neither should these agents. She said, what if I'd have been armed? Because she said they didn't identify themselves. They didn't say FBI search warrant, who, everybody come out. Nope. They just bust in the house. And, it's not going to end well, because somebody is going to blame on them. Okay. And how it ends, I can't say. But you keep barging into people's houses unannounced, these no knock warrant. Exactly what happened with Breonna Taylor. To your point, Kamau, like, her boyfriend had every right to open fire on people breaking in his home unannounced, not identifying themselves. And it's just if these tactics continue, it's just going to be a matter of time before something like that ends up happening, and then one of these agents is going to bite it. But like, these tactics of breaking into people's houses and stealing their things, isn't this what the Israeli forces are doing in Gaza? Isn't that what the Nazis did in Nazi Germany, and just going into Jewish people's houses and stealing their shit? It's like, I hope all these federal agents, including the ones watching us today, which we know you are. Thank you. Like the video. I hope y'all know that y'all are following in the long footsteps of Yahtzees. So y'all the new Nazis. Congratulations.
And in fact, in Palestine, the IOF will actually seize a house, push the family into one, it's a metaphor for the larger takeover of the land, push the family into one room and take over the house and use it as a base of operations for days, for weeks, if at some point they even give it back. So no, you're about, like, again, the interchange of training that takes place, and it's not a one-way street. People keep saying that the Israelis are training the Americans. It's like the Americans know how to oppress. The Americans are the ones giving the training. Yes, this is confluence of interest. It's not like the Israelis are so evil and so well understand counterterrorism that they're training they're under their American uninformed partners on how to do. It's like, no, that technology, that equipment, there's an exchange of ideas. But the folks who are giving the money for it is the Americans. The folks who are giving the money and giving the weapons and the technological sort of advances that they have, the uniforms, all of that's coming from American taxpayers. And it is a clear exchange of ideas and tactics around how to control oppressed communities. And not just the Americans and the British, the Germans, the French, all of their local police forces are training together. So this is not, somebody said something a few weeks ago about when the encampments was broken. I think they've used this a couple of times. People have used this a couple of times in the Occupy Wall Street and the encampments. And they kept saying, oh, those were local actions by local police forces. It's like, those were coordinated actions done through the local police forces, but coordinated through the federal government. And this is what their way of absolving either Obama or Biden of the federal involvement in breaking up demonstrations around the country. It's like those folks got calls that now is the time to be breaking up these encampments and to be breaking up these park demonstrations in terms of Occupy. They were not just, they happened to be done by one or like by local officials on their own. They were coordinated actions that took place all across the country.
Streets is watching. Y'all, yeah. Double lock all your doors. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say when the boys roll up with the no knock warrant. Just make sure your shit is locked up. I don't know what to say, but this is terrible.
Well, it's about time to wrap up in a quick minute. Kim Brown, what we got coming down to, whatever they call it. What's your next show on?
Whatever. Like you don't watch.
And he doesn't. And you got brought up in my chat on Tuesday, Doctor. Someone
He did?
Yeah. I can't. Well, first of all, you got props from Don Hammond, who was a viewer of Black Liberation Media and of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Don said that you were a nigga that get shit done. Don said they respect it. You know what I'm saying? It's just respect on the Ear Doctor's name over at BIDWKB. But I correctly pointed out that you don't ever watch my show.
Start watching.
You don't have to. That's okay.
Okay.
We don't need you.
So what you I'm busy creating.
You do get things done. I give you high compliments there too. You are a man of action.
All right.
You're not
working on it.
Your ass and let things come to them. You are a go-getter.
And a discipline. Can we acknowledge? We acknowledge discipline. You're a disciplined fellow. You are goal oriented. You're solution oriented. You're forward progress, forward thinking. You bring a lot of positive attributes, Ear Doctor. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
From your demeanor, nobody would know that. That's the point.
Nice.
It was
nice.
just
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And I enjoy when y'all do that. What you got coming up, Kamal? Anything?
You enjoy when we do what? Compliment you?
I mean that and throw punches at me. I can take them.
You deserve the punches.
Yeah, you can take it too. I know you tough like that. That's why I think you get a lot. Everyone gets along. Ain't no snowflakes up here. Not really.
Not at all. Not at all. Anything coming up besides the conference?
Not besides the conference, my man. Oh,
that
there's
is the big
things I'm doing, but I keep forgetting to put up any flyers or anything. So there's a book. I did a book. Did I talk about the book?
What? You did a book?
I got to find the book. So with
you see Kim's face.
She's like, did you get right?
Like I got to work harder around these two motherfuckers right here.
Wait a minute, No Cop City, No Cop. I haven't done my proper. I'm supposed to be pushing this book.
God, I mean, well, while you're doing that, make sure y'all cop the CMOS.
Or you co-wrote the book? What happened?
It's an edited collection of essays, which I also wrote one of the essays in the book. So it is a collection of essays. I'm going to bring it up now. No Cop City, No Cop World is the name of it. It is coming out within a month. People are already pre-ordering.
This ain't the essay thing book that you ain't get no credit for, is it?
No, this one I got credit for. This one I did, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, gang. We have our assignment. We got to make Kamal book go platinum.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah. So Micah Herkson, Mariah Parker, and myself with the project. I mean, Micah was the project lead. He was kind enough to include the rest of us in terms of being editors. Basically, it is stories from Cop City. As folks know, a few days ago, Cop City finally opened up here in Atlanta. Right. And the powers that be, spent all day trying to crow about it. We see this as a continuation of the struggle that will continue. And hopefully the best part of a book like this, if it serves any purpose whatsoever, and the only way it does serve any purpose is if people can get some stories out of it that helps them continue on their own struggles and organizing things that we did right, things that we did wrong, a whole bunch of wrong, and maybe some things that we did right. So folks, if your time and resources allow, pick up the book.
All right.
And I'll try to push it some more in the near future.
Well, do you have a pre-order link you can drop in the chat?
I'm going to drop that right now.
Look at that. I'm getting my ebook right now. Look at that.
I'm going to drop that right now.
Now, you know what I have to ask.
What happened?
Is there an audio version available of this book?
I would assume there would be, but I have no idea.
Okay,
I have to actually mark it.
Let's get on it.
Yeah, I would
Jeez,
have
all y'all radicals. Let's be extra fucking radical and make the shit fully accessible, please and thank you.
You are
Yeah,
correct. You are correct. You are correct.
So I'm not a big reader. I like to listen to. Did I just say that out loud? Anyway, make sure y'all tune in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for some more. And make sure y'all go register for the Black Radical Conference coming up at the end of May. So
We've already sold over 300 tickets, more than what we sold last time. On the platform, it says the 216 tickets are left, but because of the combined amount from this and the last platform we had up, or the last way to buy, we've sold well over 300 tickets. We're looking for folks to come out. Please come on out. Let's talk. Let's organize. Let's be together.
Let's do it. All right. Join us tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. for some more right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let me get this together so it can look like I know what I'm doing.
Too late.
Bam. We out.